All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the third part of the show, we're going to talk about the recent offseason rumors. And I actually just went back and rewatched when I went to break the first time, and I said football podcast. So, like I said, just in football mode, because that's literally, other than today, I'm always doing the football show. Um, that's embarrassing. But anyways, so let's get into the third topic of the show. So we're just going to go through the off-season rumors, um, things that have been trending. So we'll go back to MLB has like the hot stove tab that you can look at, and it shows like the recent like rumors and things like that. So we'll go to you know where we last had the show. Um, so one of the things was Jock Peterson is getting interest from the Blue Jays. So we'll go through that. So Jock Peterson, the lefty bat, and the Blue Jays, another team too. Like, what kind of offseason is this that they're having? I mean, I guess they believe in the guys that they have already, but you bring back here. Well, yeah, you bring back Kiermaier, then you're signing Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. Now, Jock Peterson could provide some pop to that lineup, a lefty bat, like I said. Last year, in 121 games, he had 15 home runs, 51 RBIs on the season, 235 batting average, 348 on base percentage, a 416 slugging, a 764 OPS. So, the numbers aren't great. Not bad, but not great. But yeah, again, another lefty bat, and that's something the Blue Jays need is, more lefties, which is something that, as a Yankee fan, I was, saying for years, and they addressed it. They had interest in Bellinger, but I guess maybe they don't want to pay him all that money. So we'll see. It seems like they might use him just primarily as a DH. And I guess he'd be the replacement of Brandon Belt, because Brandon Belt was on their team last year. So we'll see what ends up happening there. There's also talk of the Mariners maybe, at least from a few days ago, could they make a move on Dylan Cease? Because that's still one of the top trade targets here in the offseason is Dylan Cease going to be traded? It seems like, this is what I saw with something Jeff Passan said. So it looks like Corbin Burns and Shane Bieber, they might not be traded because the Brewers and the Guardians want to compete, and maybe they might not get the best deals before the season. So they'll probably wait. If they're not competing, they could be trade deadline acquisitions, or they just lose them in free agency. But I think, like, if they're not, the Guardians, I don't know how good the Guardians are going to be. The Brewers, but the thing is, both divisions aren't very good. So they could still compete, but the Guardians were not good last year. So I don't know. If the Guardians are, well, again, if both teams aren't good, I could see the Guardians not being good. The Brewers, they'll probably still compete for the Central. But who knows? I didn't think the Guardians were going to be good in 2022 when they ended up winning the division and giving the Yankees actually, no, did they? Yeah, they won the division, right? In 2022? Because I remember they played in the wild card round. But yeah, they won the division that year, and then they pushed the Yankees to 5 games. And then last year, I don't know what happened. They just weren't as good. But we'll see. But it seems like Dylan Cease could still be traded. Mariners are a potential suitor. But yeah, Bieber and Burns might not be traded, until, I guess, the trade deadline. Also, there was talk about Marcus Stroman. Not as good as he once was, but again, there's teams out there that are looking to add pitchers. The Orioles, the Giants, the Angels. So we'll see what ends up happening there, if he ends up going somewhere. Josh Hader, obviously, talking about him. He wants to reset the closer market. He wants to get a bigger deal than Edwin Diaz, which we talked about on last week's show. Dodgers and Rangers among the potential fits. I mean, again, if he goes to the Dodgers, that wouldn't surprise me because the Dodgers are signing everybody, or at least getting at everybody. Also getting Tyler Glasnow in a trade. And Hader, yeah, it'd be a good move. I mean, listen, I wouldn't mind if my team got him, but yeah, I mean, the fact that he only wants to pitch one inning, that kind of does, that kind of, makes me pause a little bit because you want to have somebody that can pitch multiple innings, and the Yankees have some pitchers that can do that, but yeah, with Hader, I mean, if you're only going to pitch one inning, yeah, maybe. And also, especially if he wants to, surpass Edwin Diaz's contract, yeah, I think look elsewhere. But yeah, I mean, you got Blake Snell, Jordan Montgomery, Imanaga, another pitcher out there, all southpaws. So we'll see what ends up happening, with them. I mean, apparently, actually, so the Yankees and Blake Snell have made some news. So Blake Snell supposedly has interest in joining the Yankees. But here's the thing. I was like, oh yeah, I would take Blake Snell. I mean, listen, just won the Cy Young. I would absolutely take him. But everywhere I look on social media, it's like the complete opposite. It's like, no, he walks a lot of guys and wouldn't be a good fit. And I'm just like, okay, well, I don't want that. If and he doesn't go deep into games. But I mean, listen, the Yankees, they need help in their rotation right now. And the thing that hurts is they signed Carlos Rodon to that big contract. Last year was a disaster. If he can bounce back, at least you'll have him and Cole at the top, because you know what you're getting out of Garrett Cole. You're not worried about him. It's the four other spots that are concerning, and hopefully Carlos Rodon stays healthy and he can bounce back. But yeah, the Yankee rotation needs help. And listen, I wouldn't say no to Blake Snell. If we got him, I'd be happy until you get to that first game, that first start, and he gives up 4 home runs and he walks 6 batters. Then yeah, I'm not going to be happy. But I would take it. Yeah. Also, another thing, Yankees and Orioles expressing sincere interest in Cease. That's what Ken Rosenthal's what he wrote on the the Athletic. Dodgers, Cardinals, and Red Sox are also in the mix. I know. I mean, that's really what this is right now. Is just this team could be interested in this player, and it's just there's nothing really happening right now after, because once you get Ohtani signed, you're like, oh yeah, Ohtani signed, and then it's like, well, what else is there to talk about? Yamamoto signs, Soto gets traded, but yeah. Also bringing up Carlos Santana. Drawing interest from the Brewers, Pirates, and Mariners. All teams that he's played with in the past. I mean, lefty bat that can help out possibly. 23 home runs last year. So yeah, he's still got some pop in his bat. He's gonna be 38. Wow. Yeah, no, I remember him. It seems like yesterday when he was with the before they were called the Guardians, of course. Angels discussed they have some interest in some free agent outfielders, Michael A. Taylor, Adam Duvall. I mean, I guess trying to add more to their lineup, but I mean, I don't really expect the Angels to do much in 2024. Losing the best player in baseball. It just it's been a rough end to the second half of 2023. going into the new year for the Angels. I mean, they tried to compete, to get into the playoffs, and that just backfired. Now you lost Ohtani, and I mean, you still got Mike Trout, but Adam Duvall and Michael A. Taylor. I mean, listen, it helped the lineup, but it's not really it's not really again, not a needle moving move. That's not gonna happen. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much it when looking at the latest rumors. It's listen. I'm mainly focused on the Yankees. On what they're gonna do. But hopefully, we get some more free agents starting to sign, and we could talk about it. Of course, I mean I know I say that every week. I sound like a broken record here, but yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's just this team has interest in this player, and I mean there's only so much you can you could say on the topic, but eventually these free agents will sign, right? I'm curious to see what ends up happening with Bellinger because the Cubs. It seems like it's going to be. It looks like he'll go back there because it doesn't seem like I feel like one of these other teams would have signed him already. Like the Giants. I know they were talking about him. I mean, they said the Giants were going to go all in on these free agents, but that hasn't really happened. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, there's still time. I mean, maybe we see some of these free agents. They linger until we get to spring training, and then they sign. That's also a possibility. But I don't know. Things slowed down again. But again, just have to wait and see what ends up happening. So, but yeah, when we get back from our final break of the show, we'll actually talk about the power rankings that MLB released this week. I know I talked about the CBS power rankings that were released, I think a couple weeks ago. But these are the first official power rankings for 2024. So we'll go through them. They're pretty much, it's pretty much going to be around the same as CBS. Actually, I did take a quick peek before. The Yankees were in the top 5 on CBS, but they're lower on these, but they're still in the top 10. So, that's what we're going to talk about, and then that'll be it. And then after that, it's, like I said, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. I will be streaming the football podcast. So we'll talk about that. That'll be the second show of the day. Preview all the games for Week 18, the final week in the regular season, and then that'll be it. So, but yeah, when we come back from our final break of the show here, we'll talk about the power rankings that MLB released, the first power rankings of the 2024 season. So, with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.